guys, so today in this video I'm going to show you guys how I did my own microlinks. First of all, this was a huge challenge, so I recommend if you have a friend or a family member, have them help you with this because it's really hard to do on your own. But my hair is a great length, but it wasn't as full as I would like my hair to be, so I decided to go ahead and do microlinks, which I think is a great alternative if you don't want a traditional sew-in. So to get started, make sure you leave out enough hair in the back. That's important because when you put your hair in a ponytail, you don't want to be able to see the wefts or the bead. Make sure you take out hair from the sides because you don't want your beads to show when you put your hair in a ponytail. So leave out enough. Don't leave out too much, but enough. Make sure you clip everything away because things will get messy as you're doing this. Go ahead and part out a small section. Be very careful to make sure it's not super thick. Your hair actually will not fit into the bead. And then you don't want it to be too thick because you can risk losing your hair when you're pulling out the bead, or if your hair swells up when you are washing your hair or when you sweat. So section off tiny amounts of hair, but make sure it's not too small and make sure it's not too thick. You're going to take this black bead and put about 10 of them onto this tool right here, and then use this clamp to squish the bead flat. Now, it's really important that you don't squish it too hard because it will cut your hair. Kind of use your own judgment. Make sure you clamp it down to where it's squished enough like a rectangle, but make sure you don't squish it too hard because you'll lose your hair, as I said earlier. And if it's too loose, it's just going to slide off and it won't be able to hold the weft onto your hair when you are sewing it on. So I start off by just putting on all the black beads onto the first row, clamping them. And this is how the first row should look once it's done. This is how every row is going to look actually before you put the wefts on. I'm going to be using thread. I prefer to not use a cotton thread, so I'm using this nylon one. It just looks better, feels better, and doesn't knot up as you're sewing. And each weft that I'm putting on, that I'm sewing onto the hair on top of the bead, I'm doubling the tracks so that it adds for more fullness and I don't have to add in that many rows. So if you do single wefts, you'll probably have to add in way more for fullness, but if you do double, it's a little easier and it kind of gets the job done a little faster. In total, I only put 5 rows in my hair, which I'll show you guys at the end how it looks. I didn't feel the need to record each and every row that I was doing because, one, it was slowing down my process and it was hard because I had to make sure my head was a certain way so that you guys could see it. Go ahead and cut the weft. Yes, you're going to have to cut the weft with this hairstyle. And then you want to sew, to lock in the weft, you want to sew in the same spot 3 times. And then you're going to cut the excess thread and then knot it 3 times and then cut that piece off before moving on to your next section. And this is how your first row should look. Now, obviously, it's not the neatest because, I could barely see in the back of my head. But if you're doing it for somebody else, you could obviously make it way more neater and really bring that weft to the top part of your part. Now, you don't want this hairstyle to be tight. You want it to... Okay, what I didn't mention also is make sure the beads are not put on your hair tight. Allow for a little bit of room from the root to the bead. The tighter you do this, you're going to have so much breakage when you're taking your hair out. So you don't want it to be super tight. And even when you're sewing on the wefts, make sure you're not sewing it on tight. Like, you'll know your hair is super tight if when you try to put it in a ponytail and it hurts really bad. If it doesn't hurt at all, that means you did a great job and that means you safely installed the microlinks. But if it's really tight and you can't even like flip your hair from left to right directly after this hairstyle, that means you did it too tight. I would say this is probably the hardest hairstyle that I've ever done on myself, ever. Like, my arms were on fire. It just was not knowing if I'm doing it right, if it's coming out right, if it's gonna look right. I just wasn't sure about anything. So my end result was amazing. All right, so this part is important. So from where I'm showing you right now is my pressure points. Do not put any beads on that area, because the more stress you put onto your hair, aka ponytails or any styling, is going to come straight out of your scalp. Okay, that's where your hair is mostly weak, around like your edges. All right guys, so let me show you what I did so far. Today's the next day and I finished the rest of my hair off camera. All right, so we have one track right here, and then it looks like this. Then we have a little bit of space right here, and we have another track right here. So it looks like that. And then I put one more track directly on top of this one, but it's still very flat. So far we're at 3 tracks right now. 1, 2, 3. Right? Left a little bit of space, left out some of my real hair right here, as you can see. And then I put one track right here. So now we're at 4. And then we have one more up here, a little bit of hair right here. And then we have the 5th one right here. And all up here is my real hair. Yeah, it feels really good. It feels very natural. The only annoying thing is the fact that my hair is actually jet black, my real hair, and the weave is some parts are black, some parts are brown. So I can see it in the sun. You can't really see it in the daytime. Like, I mean, inside, obviously. But I'm gonna eventually dye it maybe like next week, and I'm just going to rock it like this for a while. So hopefully it doesn't bother me too much. Right now is I want to actually go ahead and layer it. I did layer it a little bit before this video, but you can see that it's like this part right here is just awkward. It's just splitting my hair down the middle, and I'm gonna use this razor comb, razor scissors, I don't know what it's called, razor. Making sure I don't cut my real hair. My real hair stops right here. So we have about this much. And we don't want to cut it too short, but we want to checking to make sure it's even. I'm just going to add some layers. But again, like I said, my real hair stops here. So we just want to like make it go like that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just use my EAP curling iron, and I'm gonna go ahead and just curl my hair. Not really curl, but to give it some fluff and body. So yeah, but you can see a difference. It looks so much more fuller and thicker, and like looks like my hair. And actually, the black and brown different colors, I went and I just looked at some footage. It doesn't look that bad. I'm just exaggerating as usual. I'm just gonna go ahead and brush the curls out with a paddle brush, and I like the brush going this way. Now this looks really good, okay? I love it, I love it! Put it behind my ears, you can't tell it's not mine. And it actually comes out right. Now my edges are kind of like thin, guys. The only reason why I'm really doing this hairstyle is because I need a hairstyle to wear on a regular basis outside of my wig videos, and I feel like this would be the best option. I just need to go back to taking care of my hair. I've been doing my deep conditions bi-weekly because what happened was I had ended up braiding my hair underneath my wigs last month, and I used braiding hair, and I braided them shit tight as hell. All right, when I took those braids out, I was like, where the hell my edges at? Like, you can see that it's super thin. So right now I'm just in the process of just leaving my hair alone. And I know on a regular basis I like to just wear my hair out or just up in a loose ponytail and call it a day, especially with going to the gym and stuff. So that's kind of why I decided to do microlinks. It just gives me the best of both worlds. Obviously you need to tie your hair down so that you don't have to use a lot of heat on your hair on a regular basis. When you go to the gym, wear your hair in a loose, low bun or pony if you can, and make sure, what I noticed is do not press your hair up against your scalp. So don't do like a tight ponytail, or while your hair is like still wet from drying from the sweat, make sure you do not make your real hair touch any wetness. Don't press it down. Just don't touch your head. I've noticed that the more you touch your hair when your hair is wet from sweat, it frizzes up, and then boom, you gotta flat iron it again. So I would say do this, and at night, if you don't want to curl it all the time, like to avoid heat, use flexi rods. All right, because a lot of times I don't have to flat iron my hair. I do it probably maybe like once a week or once every week and a half, depending. But it looks really good. It feels really full. It feels really good, and I could wake up next to my man looking good. And I can still put my wigs on over this if I wanted to, like if I have to do a video or something, or I just want like a nice little change if we're going out to dinner or something, you know. So something cute like this. I love the fact that I could just literally be like, just throw it to the side. So this is how the back looks. Nice, seamless. Then for the sides,